Welcome back to patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience, your one-stop shop for your gaming news. Of course, these episodes drop at 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon on Patreon, and then it goes to the free feeds on Monday. Um, Tell your friends if they want to get the full episode the day that it drops, they've got to be subscribed to Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/the Derrick Lamont Experience if you are listening on the free feeds, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, etc. Quite an interesting week, quite an interesting day. I'm recording this on Thursday afternoon, the 26th. Today, pre-orders for the PlayStation 5 Pro went live on PlayStationDirect.com. They are not live at retailers yet. October 10th, Amazon, Target, Walmart, Best Buy, their retail partners, the pre-orders will go live on those particular sites. But right now, it is just PlayStationDirect.com, and it's been kind of a log jam trying to get one. I do know some of my friends who were able to successfully get a pre-order taken care of, so shout out to them. Rock, Jay Bari, J Dub, etc., etc. Happy for you, brothers. I didn't get one on PlayStationDirect.com. I didn't even try. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, the big talk, of course, was the PlayStation 30th anniversary, PlayStation 5 Pro bundle, standard PlayStation 5 30th anniversary edition, PlayStation Portal 30th anniversary edition, place, excuse me, DualSense 30th anniversary edition. Everybody wants that 30th anniversary edition because it comes in the original OG PlayStation packaging. Some nice stuff in there. It looks really, really good. The bundle is a total of 9.99, which is not bad. You're getting a DualSense charging station, you're getting the console itself, and you're getting a PlayStation Portal as well. So that's not a bad price considering the PlayStation 5 Pro alone is $700. That's a really, really good price. Everybody's like, you can build a PC. Not for $700. Not anything good that's going to do what that PlayStation 5 Pro does. We're going to get to that in a minute. Really quickly, first, I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadow. Also, really quickly before we go there, the PlayStation State of Play that took place earlier this week. Congrats to Sucker Punch showing off the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. It's Ghost of Yotai or something like that. I can't remember. It is not Jinsekai. It takes place 300 years later in another part of Japan. It is a female protagonist this time. All you neckbeard guys out there, like, this is woke. You got us playing as a woman, blah, 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 blah. Like, calm the fuck down. Seriously, calm the fuck down. I think that you guys have, like, number one, that's not what woke meant, right? And unfortunately, people will take something and try to make it their own. That's not what woke meant. It just isn't. Let's start there, right? So you're like, well, everything's gone woke. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. You guys just don't want anybody having any representation outside of yourself, cis white men. And this is not talking to all white men because I know you're not all like that, but there is a specific group that are particularly like that, and they're showing every time a person of color is the lead protagonist in a game, every time a female is the lead protagonist in a game, it's, oh, they went woke. John Garvin, when Deacon St. John was one of the bots in Astrobot, Sony Ben went woke. Like, bro, just shut up. Shut up. The kind of people that say stuff like that are the type of people that I believe 100%. Um, it's like you hate to be like, oh, they've got a neck beard, they didn't date in high school, this, that, and the third. And it's like all these little adjectives and things to describe them, but really, in all actuality, what they are is morons because they don't want, like, it's like some of these guys, you have daughters, so you don't want your daughter to lead anything. You want her to always take the back seat to a male. Is that what it is? Oh, if your daughter brings home a black guy, and or God forbid an Asian guy or Hispanic guy or something like that, that's also woke, and you like gonna write your daughter off or your son, whatever have you. Let people be them. Number one, there's nothing wrong with inclusivity. Now, oh, this is a DEI hire. This is bullshit. Like, this is stupid. Like, come on, seriously. I think it's time to stop that. It's actually been past time to stop all that nonsense. But what the fuck do I know? You know what I mean? Anyway, um, so the PlayStation 5 Pro, the 30th anniversary edition, everybody is really, really excited. It's crazy because all these people were like, $700, no way, da 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 da. Like Destin Legary, number one, he's like $699 is too much. And then he tweets a moment ago, PlayStation 5 Pro successfully pre-ordered. But you said it was too much money. And then somebody's like, I wonder why he didn't just build a PC for the same price. Because anybody who knows what it takes to make a PC run the way that that console runs, you're spending more than $700. Um, yeah, it's just really, really funny. It's really, really funny. Digital Foundry kind of did a breakdown, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, this is actually a really, really good price, and this is a really good fucking console." When they saw things running, um, saw games running on it, everybody's like, okay, well, this is actually better than we thought. And now all of a sudden that $700 price tag is no longer an issue for you guys. Like everybody's like, because I wake up this morning and I see everybody going for a pre-order, and Jay Barry's like, y'all are liars because y'all all said you weren't getting this thing and it was pointless, but here we are. And that's what happens with all tech, right? They said the same thing about the PlayStation Portal last year and it sold out immediately. So yeah, you guys are just essentially fucking liars, but it is what it is. Anyway, we're gonna switch gears and we'll get back to the pro later and other things. PlayStation, the worst kept game secret in gaming was the PlayStation 5 Horizon Zero Dawn remaster that was revealed at the state of play. Unfortunately, Sony has increased the price of Horizon Zero Dawn following the announcement that it could be upgraded to the upcoming remaster. Until recently, the PS4 version of Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition was listed at $20, according to PS prices. This has been the case for over 2 years. Now the game's price has increased to $39.99. The reason for the price increase is almost certainly to ensure that players don't get Horizon Zero Dawn remastered for cheaper than the full price by buying the PS4 version on sale and then upgrading it. I already have the PS4 version, so the upgrade path for me is $10, just like a lot of those other PS4 games that were upgraded to the PS5. The game will be available for $49.99 on PS5, Steam, and the Epic Game Store, while owners of the original game can upgrade the remaster for $9.99. I would assume if you have the PC version, it's the same thing. I don't know. As such, the decision to change the PS4 version's price back to $39.99 means annoying. I'm sorry, means anyone choosing to buy that and upgrade will pay a total of $49.98 instead of $29.98. A PC version of Horizon Zero Dawn was released in 2020 with improved draw distance and higher frame rates, but it mostly reused the assets and features from the PS4 version. Quote, each year, many millions more pick up the Horizon Zero Dawn for the first time, Guerrilla Studio director and art animator director Jean Bart Van Bean wrote on the PlayStation blog. 7 years is a long time in the world of computer graphics technology improves. As time moved on, we really wish that new players who join Aloy on her origin story can do it with the version that is worthy of their PS5 or compatible PC. And so we are thrilled to announce that the game has been remastered by our talented friends at Nixus. So my question is, did Nixus handle the PS5 upgrade port as well? Because that's the way that they're phrasing this, and I know Nixus was acquired to release PlayStation games on PC. So I don't know. This is interesting. I will discuss it more as it goes along, but this is next month. I believe it's October 31st. We're getting it on how no, maybe it is. I don't know. It looks better. The facial animations like complete character overhaul. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, okay, number one, it was gonna cost me $10. Why the fuck not, right? Um, Getting rid of loading screens, um, better frame rates, draw distance, all that stuff. And then when I saw the character animations, I was like, oh no, this is worth it. This is like if I didn't have the game, it would be worth it at $50. But the fact that I have the game and I get to take advantages for $10, it's nothing I'm gonna like. This is not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal. So again, we all knew this was coming. The rumors have been out there for quite some time. And then when they moved Horizon Zero Dawn off of whatever PlayStation Plus tier it was on around the state of play in the spring, heading into what used to be E3, we all totally thought at that state of play we were going to see it, and it ended up being Lego Horizon instead. So it's like, okay, we still knew the thing was out there though. We still knew the thing was out there, but I don't know. Have at it. Now, the most interesting thing to happen this week was the fact that the Assassin's Creed Shadows showcase at TGS was canceled. And I'm like, what is going on? And I remember when they showed Assassin's Creed Shadow, I was like, this just looks like Ubisoft ripping off Sucker Punch. This looks like Ubisoft Ghost of Tsushima. Interestingly enough, the same day that the new Ghost game was revealed at that state of play, Assassin's Creed Shadow news comes. So here we go. And this comes directly from the good folks over at Ubisoft. Dear players, Assassin's Creed Shadow is a dream project for us, finally bringing the series to feudal Japan with many features developed with our community in mind, such as parkour or the renewed stealth, brought by new technology, all set in a beautiful and immersive world. This is an ambitious addition to the franchise, a rich experience that can be lived through the eyes of two unique protagonists. But we realize we need more time to polish and refine the experience, pushing further some of our key features. As such, we've made the decision to postpone the release date to February 14th of 2025. Happy Valentine's Day in advance. The game will release on a broad range of platforms, including Steam at launch. Additionally, pre-orders will be refunded, and all future pre-orders will be granted the first expansion for free. Um, we understand this decision will come as disappointing news, especially to those who have been waiting patiently for an Assassin's Creed game inspired by feudal Japan. But we sincerely believe this is the best interest of the game and ultimately your experience as a player. Rest assured, we are looking forward to to the moment you will embark on a memorable adventure with Neo and uh, Yasuke. Until then, we thank you for your ongoing support. Um, this goes without saying, there are problems over at Ubisoft, and it goes much deeper than this because Insider Gaming has a story. Ubisoft's board is launching an investigation into the company's struggles. This is very, very interesting. It's been announced that Ubisoft's executive committee and board of directors will launch an investigation and review of the company. The news came via company financial statement and update, which included the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows and the announcement that Star Wars Outlaws underperformed. I will have more on that in a second. The statement read, in light of the recent challenges, we acknowledge the need for greater efficiency while delighting players. As a result, beyond the first important short term actions undertaken, the executive committee, under the supervision of the board of directors, is launching a review aimed at further improving our execution, notably in this player centric approach and accelerating our strategic path towards higher performing model to the benefit of our stakeholders and shareholders. Finally, let me address some of the polarized comments around Ubisoft lately. I want to reaffirm that we are an entertainment first company creating games for the broadest possible audience, and our goal is to not push any specific agenda. We remain committed to creating games for fans and players that everyone can enjoy. Hold on. Sorry. Um, At the time of writing, Ubisoft stock has decreased to 11.42 euros and has drastically fallen these past few months. Last month, Insider Gaming reported that XDefiant was at risk of losing its much needed post launch support after dwindling player numbers and following the release of a mild Star Wars Outlaws launch. Ubisoft price fell to a near 10-year low. Speaking with current and former Ubisoft employees, I am told that the move was inevitable and that the writing was on the wall, as many Ubisoft studios have been struggling due to poor management. While I have reported on some of these issues in the past, Insider Gaming will have a more in-depth report in coming days or weeks. They're shitting the bed over there. They are shitting the bed over there. So IGN has a story about the Star Wars Outlaws situation. Ubisoft has admitted its open world Star Wars Outlaws has underperformed and announced a Steam release date alongside. A financial update from Ubisoft announced a number of significant changes at the company, including the delay of the premiere title, Assassin's Creed Shadows. This came alongside word that Star Wars Outlaw had a softer than expected launch and a November 21 release date for Steam. Despite solid ratings, 76 on Metacritic, that's middle of the pack. That's like if it's 80 or higher, everybody's like, okay, this is a good game. Why is it not selling? Then you have cause for concern. But 76, like that's middle of the pack. That's not a strong showing ratings wise. I don't know what they're talking about there. Anyway, user scores across the first party and Epic scores, 3 and 9. 3.9 out of 5 that reflect an immersive and authentic Star Wars universe. Star Wars Outlaws initial sales proved softer than expected, Ubisoft said. In response to player feedback, Ubisoft's development teams are currently fully mobilized to swiftly implement a series of updates to polish and improve the player experience in order to engage a large audience during the holiday season, to position Star Wars Outlaws as a strong long term performer. Star Wars Outlaws was long expected to have been a disappointment for Ubisoft. Shares plummeted again to a nearly 10-year low shortly after its August 26 release date, and a disgruntled investor even called on the company to go private as a result of the slump. IGN's own review of the game returned to 7 out of 10. Star Wars Outlaws is a fun intergalactic heist adventure with great exploration, but it's hindered by simple stealth, repetitive combat, and a few too many bugs at launch. Well, there you have it. So Yves Guillemot, head of Ubisoft, had some things to say about all of this. Again, in a note to investors on Wednesday, Guillemot acknowledged the company's second quarter fell short of expectations and vowed to launch a review aimed at further improving our execution. Guillemot also addressed some of the cultural conversations happening around the company lately, which have intensified around Star Wars Outlaws and the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows, which was also delayed, as we've talked about. Again, we remain committed to creating games for fans and players that everyone can enjoy. Finally, let me address some of the polarized comments around Ubisoft lately. Otherwise, Gamont stated an emphasis on a player-centric, gameplay-first approach while focusing on two key verticals: open-world adventures and games as a service native experiences. There's more. His full statement, which I've read, is at the bottom, so I'm not going to go there. They're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. And I need everybody to wake up. Super Mario Brothers was not an open world experience. We didn't get the overworld map until Super Mario Brothers 3. People still love Super Mario Brothers. The Legend of Zelda, I guess, may have been like the first open world game, maybe. A Link to the Past, I guess, like Metal Gear Solid. Um I guess you could say Final Fantasy VII was sort of an open world title. The point of this is there are video games that exist that are not open world. The issue is these companies believe that that's the only way to make a great game. It has often been called the Ubisoft formula. When we see a game and it's got a map and a bunch of icons on the map, it's like, go here and do this, do this. These are side quests. This is the main quest. But don't forget to do this because this will give you XP and you'll need a weapon. You can probably beat this portion without a weapon, but this weapon, you'll go through this portion and slice through it really fucking quickly. They've made that the standard, unfortunately, in gaming, and that's not a good thing. It should not be follow the leader, guys. It really should not. And I've been saying this and saying this and saying this, and I'm gonna continue to fucking say this. I cannot stress this enough that every game does not have to be open world. Every modern game does not have to be a games as a service game where you have a battle pass and seasonal content and stuff like that. But the companies got greedy because they're like, how did Epic do that? Well, Epic is making a lot of money off of fucking Fortnite, so we've got to get our own kind of game that does the same thing. I've said this ad nauseum on this platform, and I'm going to say it again. Fortnite was an anomaly. That was not supposed to happen. Because when it first came out, everybody's like, it's a cutesy little kids game. No adult is gonna play that. And then we all found ourselves on there, putting skins on our fucking shotguns and shit like that. And like then when the no build mode came out, it's like, whoa, now it's a straight up gunfight. You want to build, fine, you stay in that lobby. I'm gonna go over to the no build lobby. It has become extremely stressful that everybody believes this is the only way gaming will work, and that's just not true. I'm sorry. Ubisoft and their lack of success as of late is their own fault. It's nobody's fault but their own. And the fact that everybody in the industry wanted to copy them, that's why there's no innovation. That's why we wait on Kojima games because he does different shit and sometimes he doesn't land the plan correctly all the time. I love Hideo Kojima, but I'm sorry. Like, you've had some missteps in there like everybody else has. And that's why people are desperately waiting on Grand Theft Auto 6. because while it is open world, it's a sandbox that you can just play around in. Um, Far Cry used to be top tier shit, but they've even fucked that up. And don't even get me started on Beyond Good and Evil 2 because I don't even think that game's ever going to release. So Ubisoft's got some problems, in my humble opinion. And it's actually not even my opinion because it's plain to see. We're all seeing what's happening in real time. We are all seeing what is happening in real time. Moving right along, this story I saw online right before I started recording, and I thought that this was important. And I expect the industry as a whole, other states to go to this. This comes from VideoGamesChronicle.com. California forces digital stores to admit players don't own digital content. And this is in the wake of game preservation and whether you actually own the game or you just used your money to buy a license. And that's essentially what is going on here. Excuse me, a new state law in California will force digital storefronts to admit to players that they are simply buying a license for a digital product rather than owning the product. As reported by The Verge, California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a new bill that will forbid digital storefronts from using terms like buy unless customers are explicitly warned that they are paying for a license to a game which may expire at any time. I think that what happened with Concord has a lot to do with this because those people paid for that game and 2 weeks later it was gone. That is really fucked up. But they should have never put that game out. Let's be real. Quote, as retailers continue to pivot away from selling physical media, the need for consumer protections on the purchase of digital media has become increasingly more important. California Assembly member Jaquai Irvin said in a statement. Quote, I thank the governor for signing AB 2426, ensuring the false and deceptive advertising from sellers of digital media, incorrectly telling customers they own their purchases becomes a thing of the past. Several high profile companies have taken games entirely offline in recent years, leading many players to question the legality of removing access to the games that people have paid for. In April, Ubisoft took the crew offline a year after delisting the game. Earlier this month, developer Ivory Tower acknowledged consumer complaints over the handling of the crew. Quote, we want to acknowledge that some of you voiced concerns about the access to the crew game, said Stefan Blake, senior creative director of the franchise at Ivory Tower. Today, we want to express our commitment to the future of the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest. We are currently exploring different solutions and can confirm an offline mode to ensure long term access to both titles. Ubisoft explained its decision to take the crew offline in a statement issued to VGC last year. Quote, after almost a decade of support, we'll be decommissioning the Crew 1 on March 31st of 2024, it said. We understand this may be disappointing for players still enjoying the game, but it's necessary due to upcoming server infrastructure and licensing constraints. If you want to kill off the server because you need the room for other games, that I get. But this is why I have a problem with online only games that don't have single player content because at some point they are going to need server space accoladed for new titles and things like that. And that game that's online only and lives on a server, it won't live on that server anymore. And this is an issue. This is totally an issue. And this goes back to the argument about game preservation and the future of gaming in the wake of, we're in this all digital world now. I can't tell you the last time. I'm trying to think of the last physical copy of a game I bought, and it absolutely had to be something for the Switch, because I got to a point a few years back where I wanted all of my Switch games on physical media. I haven't bought anything from the Switch store, from the Nintendo store, in quite some time. Um, so yeah, this is an issue. I expect other states to follow suit. I remember years ago going into GameStop, 2017 to be exact, and they're like, "Yeah, buy these cards now because they're gonna start charging tax on digital media." I'm like, "Really? What?" They're like, "Yeah, they're gonna start charging PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, all this stuff, Amazon cards. They are going to start charging a tax on that stuff. It hasn't come to fruition yet, and let me knock on wood before it does, but like." Greed has always been a part of gaming, but it is really getting out of hand now. It's really, really getting out of hand now. So I don't know. Back to Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. This is very, very interesting. Some people, and it's not myself, I think it's something really minuscule. I think that a lot of people who are strictly PC players just want to find something to bitch about. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think they just want to find a reason to bitch, and this whole PC master race, and we got free online, and you console boys don't. Okay, cry me a fucking river. I don't care. I have a PC, I have a PlayStation, I have Xbox, multiple of each. So I don't have multiple PCs, but I have multiple PlayStations and Xboxes. So this stuff doesn't bother me. So this is from PlayStationLifestyle.com. Sony is not backing down on PSN PC requirement despite backlash. Sony's PSN integration for its PC games lineup is a controversial subject among PC gamers. Despite this, the company is not backing down on its PSN login requirement as it makes its way to the upcoming release of Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. The one thing I will say is this: if it's an online game and they want you to be on the PlayStation Network, yep, doesn't bother me. If it's a game with a single player mode only, I don't think that's necessary. Maybe for trophies, but I just don't understand why it's absolutely necessary. But again, here we are. Again, Sony requires PSN login for Horizon Zero Dawn remastered on PC. In a recent PlayStation blog post, Gorilla Studio Director and Studio Art and Animation Director John Bart Van Bleek laid out some details for Horizon Zero Dawn remastered on PC. Like other PlayStation PC ports, the upcoming game includes the PlayStation Overlay and trophy support. A little footnote indicator confirms a PSN account is required for the PC version. PSN integration for PSN games have not been received well by PC players. God of War Ragnarok's PC launch was review bombed by Steam users due to the required login. In turn, the game saw a significantly lower concurrent player count than God of War 2018's PC version, which did not require a PSN account at launch. I'm going to pause right here. Ever since the Helldiver situation in like February to April or whenever that was, where that all went to shit, y'all have known that you had to sign in to PlayStation PC ports with a PSN account. So review bombing this game in September is absolutely fucking stupid. It's just dumb. You knew this was coming. If you don't have a PSN account, don't buy the fucking game. It's that simple. It's that simple. I just think that these people are fucking ridiculous. Specifically, Ragnarok peaked at 35,615 players, while its predecessor reached over 70,000 players. Now, this doesn't mean Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered's PC launch is doomed. Ghost of Tsushima on PC requires a PSN account and became the best-selling Steam release in its launch month. Well, unfortunately, we'll just have to wait to see which way it goes. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered launches October 31st of 2024 for PS5 and PC, handled by Nixxes. The release features over 10 hours of recorded conversation and motion capture. Graphical improvements have been made to bring its visuals on par with its sequel, Horizon Forbidden West. Um, Horizon fans will have more than just a remaster to play this year during September of 2024 State of Play. It was announced Horizon Adventures launches on November 14th of 2024 for PS5 and PC. This game will also require a PSN account to play on PC, so don't think you're getting away that easy. Um, yeah, I stopped crying over spilled milk. It's not that big of a deal. And then this comes from TheVerge.com. Microsoft is moving Game Pass into a single Xbox mobile app, which it should have been the case in the first place. Xbox insiders can start testing the mobile app changes before Game Pass app and download stop in November. Microsoft is planning to combine Xbox Game Pass and Xbox mobile apps into a single application soon. Software maker is testing a new version of the Xbox app for iOS and Android this week that includes features from the separate Xbox Game Pass app. You'll soon be able to explore the full Game Pass library and manage memberships within the Xbox mobile app. Game Pass Ultimate members will also be able to claim perks within its updated Xbox app. Quote, these updates will be available for Xbox beta members on the mobile and will be coming to everyone soon. This is Microsoft in a blog post. As part of these changes, we will no longer support new downloads of the Xbox Game Pass app starting in November. The new Xbox app will include Game Pass integration alongside party chat, text chat, access to game captures, and the ability to remote install or remote play games. Microsoft and Apple continue to argue about cloud gaming apps, so there's still no ability to stream games on iOS or Android inside of Xbox's mobile apps. If you want to stream games to your phone, you'll need to continue to access xbox.com/play from a browser. The mobile Game Pass changes come just weeks after Microsoft launched its own Game Pass standard tier, which includes console multiplayer access for $14.99 per month. Microsoft first detailed Xbox Game Pass standard in July, alongside price increases for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass subscribers. Microsoft is also launching its new Game Bar compact mode for all PC players today, alongside some improvements to the Xbox app on PC that will save players download space. If you're an Xbox console owner, you'll also no longer have to wait for game updates to download, so you can start playing right away when the update goes live. So there we are on that. I think it should have been one app in the first place. That's all I have for this. This makes total sense. It should have already been that way, but it wasn't, so here we are. But, kudos to Microsoft for giving us one app condensed and succinct so we don't have to keep going back and forth to Game Pass and so on and so forth. And our next article also comes from The Verge. The PlayStation 5 Pro, people are playing it. Verge's head byline says, quote, I played the PS5 Pro and it's clearly better. Probably the best way to play Sony's games. Here's why, plus some caveats. Um, let's get into it. I don't know why people are complaining. Everybody who's played this thing and says, oh, it's a fucking monster. This is insane. It is the world's most powerful console at the moment. 8 years ago, PlayStation lead architect Mark Cerny showed me the power of the PS4 Pro in this very room. Today, I'm checking out the new PS5 Pro instead and feeling some major deja vu. Like before, Sony is showing journalists a room full of screens at its PlayStation US headquarters just outside of San Francisco, playing 11 games side by side on both the original hardware and the guts with the new $700 Pro. Like before, you'll pay a hefty premium for graphical improvements rather than new titles. Like before, games will need to be patched to give you most of those boosts, and not all patches will be equal. Like before, those improvements are seriously impressive if your TV is close enough to your couch. This time it brings out details like individual blades of grass, improves the density of particles on screen, unlocks optional 8K and ray tracing modes, and it even reduces the distracting shimmering that often popped up in games on the original console. Um, where are we at? Oh, I did see some games running on this. The one that really caught my eye was the fact that The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered running on PlayStation 5, PS5 Pro, and the trees and the foliage. And I'm like, no, this makes sense. They really cooked with this console despite what people think. And yeah, no, this is crazy. So now everybody wakes up today and they want one. Well, what the fuck ever. Let's see. Michael Vanderloo, technical director on all the Horizon games, shows me how much smoother Horizon Forbidden West can be on the PS5 Pro, how much sharper now that it's sampling textures that render more crisply, and how it no longer needs to display the same ugly clouds. Quoted, it was as if a pair of dirty goggles had been lifted from my eyes. I wrote in 2016 about the PS4 Pro. I get the same exact vibe from Horizon and the most other PS5 Pro enhanced games I'm trying now. Everything looks phenomenal running on this thing. Everything looks phenomenal. Sony's demos keep us so close to the TVs it's impossible to not see the improvements with fixed linked wire controllers, encouraging us to stay nearby. When I step back anyhow, the PS5 Pro's graphical improvements get harder to make out. Some disappear at 6 feet, most of them at 10 feet. In game, after game, that's a bit further than I measured with the PS4 Pro versus the PS4 8 years ago. If you're the kind of person who already set your PS5 games to quality or fidelity or graphics mode rather than performance, I bet you'll see a huge increase in smoothness with the PS5 Pro, no matter how far away you use from it. Everybody who's played the thing says it is an absolute marvel. Sony knocked it out the park. For people who don't believe that they did, every review I've seen so far, they're like, no, they really figured it out. They really figured it out. They really made a fucking amazing console, and everybody wanted to get their hands on it. And that's why PlayStation Direct was so, bogged down this morning because everybody was looking for one when the same people were like, I'm not spending that kind of money on a console. This is stupid. And if you do it, it's bad for gaming. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So if it's bad for gaming, well, fuck, then I'm bad for gaming because I think it's a brilliant console. I think they handled themselves very well. I think Mark Cerny has once again proved that he's an absolute fucking monster when it comes to, designing these consoles. We did get word from Insomniac Games. At Insomniac Games, we released 4 games for PlayStation 5. We're excited to be enhancing all 4 to take advantage of the new capabilities available to use on the PS5 Pro. Players of Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Marvel Spider-Man 2 will find a new default performance mode which marries the crisp 4K resolution and ray tracing features of Fidelity mode with the speedy 60 frames per second of performance mode. Uh, these are credible, no compromise experiences. We know fans will love it here, and we're going to spend more time finding new ways we can leverage the PlayStation 5 Pro on both the existing titles and future games like Marvel's Wolverine. So there we all have it. Um, yeah, there we all have it. There we all have it. A lot of people were going to shit on this, but you were still going to find a group of people who were very, very excited to get their hands on this console, and that's coming to fruition now. And if anybody thought that this was going to bankrupt Sony or fuck Sony over, believe me, they know exactly how far they can push the envelope until a guy tells them get the fuck out of here. So, um, I can't wait to get my hands on a Pro. That's all I can say. Shout out to these boys. They did a great job. Cannot wait to play it. Cannot wait to go back and play some older games after they receive their PS5 Pro Enhanced patch. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. Just my opinion. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today. I'm going to go ahead and end this like I end everything else. Believe in yourself first and foremost, because if you don't believe in yourself, of course, nobody else will believe in you. As always, my name is Derrick Lamon Jackson, and that is my time. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.